We often believe that in order to experience peace, we must empty our minds, or get rid of all of our thoughts, or meditate for years and years and years. But I experience peace that is unconditional, and I want to share with you how to do the same. I am Ray, and I am here to guide you toward everlasting peace on your spiritual journey. I want you to take a moment and just listen to the sounds all around you. I'm sure you'll hear various noises in the background, but do you notice the great ocean of silence all around you, in which all noises and sounds arise from and fall back into? If you pay close attention, there is always this silence. Even if you were standing under a jet engine, or if your neighbors were having a fiesta, the silence would still be there. But I bet you, with such a loud noise, you wouldn't be able to pay attention to anything else. Now, do you remember the last time you experienced true silence? Maybe on a camping trip, or when nobody else was around to bother you? How did that feel? Probably pretty peaceful, I'd imagine. So through our direct experience, we can see that silence and peace are one and the same. Peace is the radiance of silence, of stillness, and of emptiness. Now think of the number 0 and what it represents. The number 0 represents nothingness, emptiness, the void. 0 is also a number that has the value of infinity, although infinite nothingness. This 0 is all pervasive and manifests as eternal silence, emptiness, and the space all around us. Now this space, silence, and emptiness also exists within you. And because this space is eternal, the everlasting peace that it radiates is always available to you. The reason that people tell you to empty your mind or to meditate to find peace is because only when the noise of our mind is quiet can we easily perceive this inner peace. But because the peace is everlasting, the state of our mind and the quality of our circumstances are absolutely irrelevant. The only thing that is keeping us from this everlasting peace is our lack of recognition of it. Think of it this way. We spend our whole lives listening to noises and sounds, but only when there is no sound do we truly recognize the silence that is always there. And so you see, the more we pay attention to this silence, the more we can recognize that it is always here. And so one must recognize the inner silence, the inner stillness, the inner spaciousness, and that is where everlasting peace is found. Once you recognize it and pay attention to it, you can't really unsee it. What happens with most people is that they only get brief glimpses of this peace, and then perhaps go and spend the rest of their lives trying to find it again. But they look in all the wrong places. Where we go wrong is that we believe that something external brings us this peace. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a nice quiet place, or a substance. But the fact is that all the external environment does is temporarily remove the thing that is blocking the everlasting peace that is already present. On the spiritual journey, we come to realize that peace is actually the radiance of our true selves. So whenever we look outside of ourselves, we always fall short. Many people spend their lives on a hamster wheel, always trying to get a little piece of happiness, peace, and love, never realizing that these things are the very default state of our true nature. And so you see, as the mind or ego, we desire love, peace, and happiness. But the ego mind is the exact thing that is keeping us from these things that we desire. You see, our true nature, what is called consciousness, is life itself. It is the infinite potential funneled down through the present moment into actuality. And so because this life, this consciousness can only be experienced in the present moment, so too this is where everlasting peace is found. And so you see, the ego is constantly ruminating on the past and worrying about the future, judging our current life circumstances and always resisting the present moment, therefore separating us from our natural peace. The ego mind is also changing all the time. It is never satisfied and is always looking for something new. But peace is found in stillness, in the unchanging. And so long as we have strong identification with the ego, we will be attached to all things changing and feel like we're getting pulled all over the place. And when we get pulled all over the place, we cannot experience peace. But let me ask you this. Can you observe all things that change? Can you observe the restless mind? Can you watch yourself get triggered when life isn't going your way? Are you aware when strong emotions arise in the body? Now, is the one who observes, is that one changing? Are you the same awareness now that you will be tomorrow? You see, consciousness and awareness are synonymous. They're the same thing. And what you find is that from the moment you are born until the moment you die, you are that same one awareness that is eternal and unchanging. Which means that no matter what happens, no matter how restless your mind is, there is always the unchanging awareness that is observing these things. It is only because we identify with the noise in our minds that we do not recognize that we are the silence. And so it is only our identification that temporarily separates us from our inner peace. When you attach your identity to the changing mind, you become a slave to the changing mind. When you recognize that you are the unchanging awareness, you no longer remain trapped by the mind and can experience true freedom and peace. The only thing that is required is your recognition. Remember how we looked at the silence that is all around us? Well, now try and find the silence within you. Can you sense the space around you? And now can you sense the inner spaciousness within you? Every time you find yourself agitated or triggered or irritated, all you have to do is return to this recognition. I call this our safe space. In this safe space, you are protected from all thoughts, all experiences, and all negativity. Because in this state of awareness, you are transcendent beyond all experiences. Nothing can ever harm consciousness, and nothing can ever influence consciousness. Consciousness is forever and always free from all things. And so the more you connect with your true state of being by continuing your recognition of it, the more you recognize that you are already free from suffering and that there is an everlasting peace that is already here with you. And I am not just regurgitating something I read in a book or heard from a spiritual teacher. This is my daily experience. And if you would like to experience the same thing, I encourage you to join our free community, where we will guide you on your spiritual journey to everlasting peace and freedom. Much peace and many blessings to you.